Hey there, crew. Today we are going to work like a bumblebee. So we read the story Buzzy the Bumblebee, and we trust in BE-lieve so that we can achieve. So we are going to kind of make the honeycomb shapes that bees like to build in their nests, and then we'll also make a bee sculpture as well. So we're going to be using a ton of different tools and materials, so let's get started. I have a white piece of paper as my base, but I also have a black piece of paper and a yellow piece of paper, which are the colors of the bee, so that we can use those as printing bases, and I thought we could print on bubble wrap. So it's very interesting. So you'll need at least one piece of bubble wrap. The good news is once you paint it one color, you can wash it off gently with water and it's good as new. So you can see I've already used this one a little bit with yellow. So I'm going to start with the yellow, and I'm going to print yellow bubble wrap on a black paper. So I have my paint here, I have my brush, I have my bubble wrap. So the key to printing with bubble wrap, and you can use any color of course, but if we're working with bees we kind of want to use yellow and black. But if you ever do printing with bubble wrap again, just remember you print on the bubble side. So the raised up bubbles, which are fun to pop, but you don't want to pop these because if you pop them you won't get any of that texture. So the reason we're using bubble wrap is so that we get those bumps to show up and print. So we need to be really gentle and careful. So I'm getting my brush full of yellow and I'm gently painting over the bumpy side of the bubble wrap. And look, you just see that the circle part that's bumped up, the raised texture part, is what gets the paint on it. So if I printed it gently without popping it on my black paper here, tap, 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 gentle, 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 do a gentle little dance on the back of your bubble wrap. When you lift it up, you'll have those yellow dots, and it starts to look almost like a honeycomb. And you can just go until you fill up that black paper. So I'll just paint a little more yellow, and then I would carefully print and fill my entire black paper with yellow painted bubble wrap prints. Pretty cool. Then I could wash off that bubble wrap and reuse it again and again and again with different colors. To save time though and not go wash it now, I have a separate piece to use with the black paint, and I'm going to use the black paint on the yellow paper. So I have another brush, my black paint, gentle, gentle, gentle on the bumpy side of the bubble wrap, and then the exact same process, gentle, gentle, tap, 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 and you get the same bubble wrap texture, but this time it's black on a yellow paper, and you can keep going until you fill your whole page. So I love bubble wrap printing. I love that you can reuse that bubble wrap in a fun, artistic, and creative way, and you can do it with all sorts of different papers and colors. There's actually different sizes of bubble wrap, so this is like the normal size, but then they also make bigger bubbles too, so you can get different sizes, different textures, different colors. So I'm gonna use these now to get to use the bee's honeycomb shape as technically a hexagon. So a hexagon is a six-sided shape. So hexagon is a six-sided shape, and I have some templates already cut out where I made a six-sided hexagon, and then I'm going to use, once this is dry, I'm going to use these templates to then trace and cut out hexagons, six-sided shapes from the black paper with yellow bubble wrap and the yellow paper with black bubble wrap, and then arrange those hexagons onto my white base paper. So then I have a paper full of black and yellow hexagons that are different sizes but the same shape, and that's called rhythm. The same shape repeated but different colors and different sizes all over your paper creates rhythm, and some will be made from your textured bubble wrap paper. So let's say that I had the whole paper covered with the black and yellow bubble wrap, then with a pencil or marker, you could trace around your hexagon, or you could just draw directly on your hexagon, or directly on your yellow paper, a 6-sided shape. But once you do that, then you could cut it out and glue it to your white paper. Some could be going off the edges, whatever you need to do or want to do. And then once you cut them out, you can glue them to your white background. So, once you have filled entire paper with hexagons, you can let that dry. And then I'm going to show you how you can make a sculpture of a bee that could maybe fly or be attached to you, fly over or be attached to your hexagon paper. So here's a finished one that I made, and the base of this is a toilet paper tube. So if the toilet paper ever runs out, or paper towel and you just cut it in half or make it an even bigger bee, I like to staple one end flat, so that would be like the tail or the stinger part, and then leave the top open so it still kind of has a rounded shape for the rest of the body. Or you could keep it round on both ends, or you could staple it shut on both ends. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want to do. But I stapled one side, kept one side open, and then used another piece of paper, scrap paper, maybe even the leftover yellow and black paper you could use as your scrap, to create the wings, the stinger, the head, and you could add legs too if you want. I didn't add any legs, but I think of the head as a circle, and then you could add eyes, you could add a mouth if you want, you could add a tongue if you want, you could add antenna if you want. And then once you draw your shapes, you can cut them out and glue them to your toilet paper tube. And before I made the head and wings and stinger, I painted the toilet paper tube with my leftover yellow and black paint from my printing. So instead of washing it down the drain, I used it for my sculpture. Then if I wanted to do the wings, think of ovals. So I layered 2 ovals on each side. So if you have 2 on each side, how many wings are there total? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 ovals, and if you want, you could add some texture marks in there. And you could cut those out and layer them, 2 on each side of your bumblebee. And then a stinger, or a tail, is just like a triangle, 3-sided shape. And it could be as long and pointy as you want. And then I actually added some fuzzy texture on my bumblebee because the bumblebee body and pattern actually is kind of fuzzy with texture. So think about that. You can use paint, you could use markers, you could use oil pastels, you could wrap it with scrap paper, you could do all sorts of things on your sculpture. Then, bees also like to pollinate with flowers and go around to different flowers to spread that pollen. So we could also use the scrap paper to create flowers that you glue on your hexagon print page. So you could draw from life if you have flowers at your house you could look at, or you could look at pictures of flowers on your Chromebook, or you could just make up flowers in your head, kind of like I just did. Maybe the seeds are in the middle. Maybe there's some leaves coming off of them as well as the petals. So you can use scrap paper, you could paint, you could color your flowers and your bee head, you could paint them, and then I will show you a finished project of mine where I have added my hexagons. So I have a series of hexagons that are yellow with black bubble wrap, a series of hexagons that are black with yellow bubble wrap prints, and then I made a trio or group of 3 flowers on there as well. And actually, I made this flower the 3 primary colors: rojo red, amarillo yellow, azul blue. So you can make your flowers look realistic, or you can make them look funky and abstract. And then in the white space, I actually drew some more bees with a little Sharpie. And then your choice, you could glue your bee sculpture to your collage and have it pop out 3D, or you could keep it separate like I did, and it could just kind of fly back and forth over your amazing flowers and honeycomb hexagons. Remember, a hexagon is a 6-sided shape. So I hope you have fun with this. You're bubble wrap printing and getting that texture on there. You're then tracing and cutting out 6-sided hexagon shapes. You're collaging by gluing those and arranging them in a fun way with rhythm. And then you can also build a sculpture with a toilet paper tube and scrap paper with your different parts of your bee, and cut and glue and collage that. And you could also collage some flowers on there as well. So I hope that you enjoy all of these different tools, materials, and techniques, and trust and BEE-lieve so you can achieve. Adios, amigos.